Yo, howdy guys, Jerry's cousin here today. Thank you so much for stepping into today's video. Today, we're covering some more marathon news, how the alpha is going, and we're just going to kind of be going over a few things. Most importantly, how is your guys' feedback to the game? I would give mine, but Bungie, for some reason, has still not given me my code. So, here I am. But anyways, how's everyone else's experience been? Those who actually have gameplay, please, drop your experience into the chat below. Just kind of give me an idea of kind of how it's going for you. Is it boring? Is it slow? Is it just your style? I'd love to hear everyone's experience with this game. Now, before I go in today's video, first things that we're going to talk about here is what is not included in the alpha. And then on top of that, what is an extraction shooter and what does it actually mean? So, hope you guys stick around. Let's get into this. All right. First thing is first. What is not in the alpha? Okay. So, in my marathon Discord, if you guys haven't joined already, I'll post the link down in the description. I highly encourage you to join. We have people here all the time talking about marathon stuff, kind of what's going on, just kind of keeping a loop, helping each other out, try to pass codes around to those who have priority access. We can kind of share. So if you haven't joined, go ahead, join. It's in the description. But one thing I've been trying to get guys in my Discord to kind of talk about is this right here. Now, this was dropped from a this was in a subreddit. I lost the Reddit post, but this was in the Marathon official Reddit post, and this was a list of things that a few Marathon devs have stated is not in the alpha currently. Clearly, we can kind of just knock stuff off one by one. The final visuals and the graphics, including animations and lighting, are not in the alpha. Granted, there are, obviously there's the bare minimum, but you have to understand, alpha build is not going to have everything in the game that we initially are wanting. Full and polished UI. So, I mean, that's a lot of gray boxes. I mean, I've seen the main menu screen, there's no background of some sort. It's just your character in this gray box, and it really is bland. All the runners, obviously. All zones, including the marathon ship. So the marathon ship is indeed confirmed. We are going to be going to have the marathon ship. That is confirmed. This is all factual. All this is real. Now, the marathon ship, I'm assuming that's when we will be introduced to the 4. So hopefully that is the perfect opportunity to introduce the 4. Pinnacle and endgame content. Now, that's something that a lot of people do have an issue with, and that's something that I have an issue with. I love endgame content. I love pinnacle content. I love the high reward in games. Now, I feel like Marathon is going to have a pretty interesting endgame system, and I really want to know more about it. But as of right now, obviously it's an alpha build. We don't have that just yet, but we are going to have that. So this is all to be confirmed into the full release build. All weapons, items, consumables, implants, cores, and mods. So it seems to me that we're going to be having more weapons, more variety of weapons. Bungie is pretty famous for that, honestly. So I highly doubt that we were just going to have those same weapons that we've been running with. Items, consumables, implants, cores, mods, and whatnot. So there's going to be a lot of things in the actual environment of the game that we are going to have access to, and I'm really excited for, and I truly believe is going to kind of like switch up the game a little bit. All factions and upgrades. Now, since I don't have direct access to the alpha, I'm unsure if there is like a limited amount of factions that are actually in the game, unless this is their secret faction. I forgot what it was called. It was newly introduced as the Arachnid or something like that. I believe that's not in the alpha. I believe that will be out in the full release. So in the upgrades, I believe is the skill trees and the upgrades for those factions. So hopefully we'll get something like that when the full build is released. Long-term progression in systems. That's something that we don't have right now. So that would be huge, and that would really help out the game, obviously. Complete narrative storytelling systems and final shipping content. So yes, there is a story. There is a lot. Obviously, the alpha doesn't have that right now. So we are going to have that. Rank play and final balance. Those two are absolutely huge. I am, for one, I don't typically play ranked games, but Marathon definitely is going to be that type of game for me. Marathon will definitely be a competitive game that I definitely will be playing competitively. Absolutely will. And then, of course, the final balance, or if we want to call it the final shape. I'm joking, by the way. But anyways, yeah, all this stuff looks really good, and all this stuff we have to understand that just because it's not in the game now, and this is an alpha state, you know, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. We need to understand that this alpha state really is just for server stability because Bungie is famous for having horrible servers, but Marathon has dedicated servers. So obviously this is something that they're going to need to test, they're going to need to get feedback on, they're going to need proper metrics, they're going to need the stats, they're going to need a lot of things to make sure that these dedicated servers are running smooth. And that's huge. So let's try to understand and lower this hatred for a game in alpha and understand that they're doing things to benefit themselves in the long run. Having dedicated servers is huge, and that's going to benefit Marathon very. You know, dedicated servers are huge, and that's going to benefit Marathon in the Marathon long run. See what I did there? But anyways, so let's all understand that that is what's, there. So very excited for what's going to be coming out in the full release. Again, keep all of this in mind. All of this is still subject to change. All of this can change, but this is what we're going to be seeing in the final product. So very excited for that. And one thing I did want to kind of go over is the extraction shooter aspect. So a lot of people that I've spoken with about the game have not really grasped the idea of an extraction shooter. I've messaged multiple people, I've had conversations with multiple people, and they've all said this is my first extraction game, and I just don't think this is the game for me. So then that brings me to the point of like, okay, if a majority of these people, if Marathon is their first extraction shooter, why are we allowing the shit talk to continue? Because for one, I don't see many people in the Tarkov community or even in the Hunt Showdown community making suggestions about the game or even remotely talking about the game. It seems to me that Marathon has broadened its audience and now is weaning out the people that aren't going to be playing the game. And a lot of those people have a voice, and that voice impacts a lot of people. So I think we really need to slow down and understand what an extraction shooter is. So, I have done the liberty of going to give us exactly what an extraction shooter is. So, if you do not mind, we are going to go back to one of my other points that I made. We're going back here, guys. We are going back to Escape from Tarkov. Because clearly, we still don't understand what an extraction shooter is. So let's break this down for you guys, okay? Let's see here. There was something on here that I specifically wanted to show. Let's see. Let's go to about. Okay. Now, Tarkov is not Marathon. Let's get that very, very clear. But the first sentence in all of this is Escape from Tarkov is a hardcore, realistic, online first-person RPG simulator with MMO features and story-driven walkthrough. This is not an easy game, okay? It's not easy. It says that. As the first sentence in the About section is this is not an easy game. So, what does that actually mean, okay? As you play Tarkov, it's very, very limiting. It's slow. It's at a very, very slow pace. Now, you can play, you can have horrible runs. Like, dude, you'll start off at level 1. You have a basic curated stash, or a vault, if you guys are more familiar with that term. You'll loot up, you'll put your armor on, you'll get your weapon, and then you'll go out into any of the maps, whether that's customs, shoreline, let's see here. I guess terminal, Terminal is yet to be released, but you have woods, you have labs, you have all different maps that you can load into. Now, once you load into this map, you have two choices. You can play as a PMC or you can play as a scav. And a PMC is your personal character, and then a scav is essentially the AI in the game. They're the enemy. They're not necessarily enemies, but in the game they technically are. Think of them as like scavengers. But you have the choice to play as them, and as you play as them, you only play as them within the last 20 minutes of each map. That way you have time to kind of stop the PMCs from extracting completely. So, Why is that so difficult? Well, let me tell you why Tarkov is difficult. Because it is a hardcore, realistic shooter, and it is a very difficult game to master. It's a very difficult game to get into, and it's very, very slow. All extraction games are very slow. Even Hunt Showdown is a slow game. There is nothing fast, nothing quick about any of these games, and that's exactly what an extraction shooter is. You take your time, you load up, you make sure you have everything you need, health, ammo, food, water. It's basically like in a survival game almost. Like you have to have a survival-like mentality. You go into the game, and then you have a few options. You can either do quest, or you can loot as much as you want and try to get out without dying. So where does the part come where it's very, very intense? Let's say I just picked up, let's say I've just picked up a GPU and a Bitcoin, which are very, profitable items in Escape from Tarkov. Now, I have a choice here. I don't think the GPU depends on. I'm not going to get into that. I was going to talk about there's a case situation in the game where you can stick items up your bum. Essentially, if you die, you still have those items with you with extraction. So, but typically those things are paid for. So, not really going to get into that. But let's say I have a GPU to Bitcoin and a bunch of other stuff, and I put it in my book bag and I die. Well, first thing is my mind is getting out of here as quickly as possible. I have like a lot of money on me right now. I got to get out of here with those two items. So I make my way to an extraction. I'm trying to be careful about it. There's scavs everywhere. There's gunshots to my west. There's gunshots to the east. I have no idea what's going on. And then out of nowhere, I hear a few scavs talking to me, just a few meters away, just right around the corner. Okay, I can hear them talking, and that is the most terrifying sound you can hear. Besides grenade pins and throwing grenades, that's the most scariest sound personally. But you hear them doing because they all speak Russian. That was not Russian, by the way. I'm just it just kind of what they sound like. But you'll hear that, and the moment just hit you. I'm probably not going to survive this. I don't have. My weapon's not strong enough. There's probably a level 55 Giga Chad somewhere in that tower, and he probably already knows where I am. And there's shots everywhere. I don't know what to do. So you just say, fuck it. You run. You fucking run. You beeline it. You see the extraction, you're running. And out of nowhere, one shot, you're dead. You don't even know what happened. And you're just like, you jump out of your chair a little bit. That is Tarkov, and that's exactly what will happen. Almost 90% of the time, unless you don't know what you're doing, unless you have not played the game long enough. It took me years to master. I won't even say master. It took me years to get comfortable playing Tarkov, okay? It's not an easy game, and it's not supposed to be. So why... Now, where does Marathon fit in this? Marathon fits in this because Marathon is taking the role of an extraction shooter, which extraction shooter is wearing this clothes and in this closet of, I'm a little bit of a hard game to play and master. Take your time with me. That's what extraction means. It's take your time. And I had an argument with someone about this earlier. When I say Marathon is a marathon, okay, obviously, I'm not that stupid, okay? I am not that stupid to sit here and say the reason why Marathon's called Marathon is because it's actually a marathon. No. Marathon is a marathon, okay? That's not why it's named that at all. I know that, but Marathon is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Take your time. Don't rush anything. Learn the game, learn the map, learn what it means to survive in the game, and you can have more fun with it because that's what the game is about. It's about building yourself and about building yourself with teammates to survive, to get out so you can do the next run and loot up. Escape will make me God. Escape will make me better. Escape as much as you can and learn the game. That's what you need to do. And since we're in alpha right now, it is the perfect time to get comfortable with the two maps that we have and perfect time to get comfortable with the weapons. Those need to be your only priority as of right now. To those that actually are serious about the game and genuinely, enjoy it. That's really what my take is. And I really just wanted to show this, and especially, just the first sentence in this, because that's the first thing that really sticks out, is Escape from Tarkov is a hardcore, realistic, online, blah, 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 blah. You get the point. But it's hard. It's not easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be just because you've played FPS games, that doesn't mean you're going to be okay playing Escape from Tarkov or Marathon. So that's really just my take. I've given a lot of takes this past couple of days. I really just want to drive the point here is that Marathon is a game that is set for success. Okay, it is set for success. Whether you want to believe me or not, it is set for success. And we can argue the fact that Bungie is, not the best company and that they are crooked. And I'm not going to disagree with you at all. Okay, I'm not out here trying to suck the meat off of Bungie's foreskin. Okay, they've done some very messed up things, but we don't need to keep talking about it. It's happened. There's nothing we can do about it, okay? The only thing we can do is have hope and faith that this game will be a better representation of what Bungie may have in store for us in the future. So we just need to be mindful and keep in mind that this happens every day in the world, okay? So I really just want to drive point with those two things of what is the alpha missing and what are we getting after the alpha and what does an extraction shooter actually mean. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Again, if you haven't already joined the Discord, I will have it in the description below. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Toodles!